Добредојдовте во нов Асном. Денеска имаме специјален гостин кој доаѓа од светот на финансиите, тоест од центарот на светските финансии Wall Street, Нью Йорк, каде што веќе подолго време работи како менеджер на еден фонд. Искусен професионалец, ретки се тие што ги имаме на нашиот канал и многу сум горд денес да ви го представам доктор Roberto Bandelli. Dr. Bandelli, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me and to find the valuable time of your precious time of yours to be on our podcast. How are you today?
Very well, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Nice. Dr. Bandelli, can you tell us briefly about yourself?
Yes, I basically run right now emerging hedge fund. We trade derivatives primarily on some of the main U.S. equity indices. Started doing this a few years ago. Prior to that, I worked for a number of Wall Street firms, and both in equity research as well as in mergers and acquisitions. I joined Wall Street after graduating from Harvard Business School. Prior to that, I completed a Ph.D. in mechanical engineering. So I have a background that covers engineering, technical fields, as well as business, economics, and now basically running this firm that is trading very specialized products.
Excellent. How long did you work for some of the big investment firms on the Wall Street?
About
which were those?
Yeah, there was Lehman Brothers first, then Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, and Lazard.
That's nice.
And I spent about 10 years working for these four firms.
That's great. When it comes to the world of finance that you work in, there have been numerous activities over the last 3 months, ever since the Trump's administration came into the office. We've seen a tremendous shift in the U.S. economic policy towards more imposing a tariff and protectionist economic policy that have injected some uncertainties into the U.S. economy, but also in the world market economy. The tariffs have been imposed to the major U.S. trading partners such as China, EU, Canada, and Mexico. And there've been flurry of information over the last couple of weeks, especially with the Feds keeping the rate firm at about 4.25%, and Bank of Japan and Bank of England followed the suit, as well as the economic data have been mixed, to say the least. Just past week, we've had information about the PCE index, purchasing consumption expenditure index, the favorite inflation gauge for the Feds. It's elevated at 2.8%. This injects, I would say, lots of uncertainty. Can you tell us at what stage is the U.S. economy and whether it can sustain such a tariff imposition of tariff economic policy?
Well, the economy of the U.S. is still very strong. The readings that you mentioned, while they reflect inflation rate above the 2% target of the Federal Reserve, are still pretty low, pretty close to the target, considering that they started from a peak of the decline started from a peak of 7-8% Now, as you said, the latest reading of the PCE is 2.8%. A lot of progress has been made. So the target of 2% is not too far from where the PCE numbers figures are now. Employment is still almost an all-time low. Profitability is very strong. So the US economy is still going full steam. I understand that there are some probably figures here and there that may suggest a slowdown, but that's not in the actual numbers yet. Now, of course, there is this the new administration policy, trade policy, has caused some turmoil across the globe and in the capital markets. But it's yet to play out what the consequences for the trade and the global economy are going to be. I think it's too early to say what they might be. For so far, what we have seen is, I would say, an emotional and psychological reaction to basically a new stance that is indeed, as you mentioned, unusual, but the true impact is yet to be seen. Some tariffs have been imposed, but lots of them are yet to be imposed, have been announced. So I think that it's possible that the worst case scenarios, or some of the scenarios that have been envisioned, may or may not materialize. And I think at this point, it's really speculation to say whether there is going to be a positive or negative impact on the global economy, markets, or even a mixed impact. And we'll see in 6 to 12 or 18 months what those the consequences will be. This is still a game that is still basically in the first inning, to use a baseball expression, or in the first quarter, to use a soccer expression.
That's interesting. And how have the markets been reacting to these news?
Well, they haven't reacted, at least here in the US, positively, if we talk about equity markets. But the equity markets in Europe in the past 6 months have been on fire. As you know, Germany, France, UK, Italy, some of the European equity markets have been absolutely, have reached the all-time highs. Sure, in the past a few weeks, these rallies have slowed down, but they're still very strong. Same thing has happened in Europe. I'm sorry, in Asia. We've seen the Nikkei and some of the other Asian stock markets rally in the past few months, despite of the turmoil, the news that have come out of the US and other markets. If you think of commodity markets, we think we look at some of the fixed income markets are doing fairly well. So it's it's an interesting environment.
Oh, absolutely. And surprisingly interesting environment. And knowing that Europe has last year, United States overtook China as the main trading partner of the European Union. And the statistics that are coming out from Germany are such that about 440,000 cars are being exported to the US market, and yet we are seeing Trump's administration slapping about 25, correct me if I'm wrong, 25% tariffs on the automotive market. Potentially that would have a major impact to the German economy. And just for your information, the small Macedonian economy is greatly tied to the German economy, where about 40 to 44% of our exports go there, and mainly the automotive parts are being exported. How do you see this play out in the future?
Again, it's I think it's premature to pass any judgment because we're still in a stage of announcements of tariffs, and although some tariffs have been and some of the tariffs have not yet been implemented, so we will see what the final outcome of these announcements and these enforcements is. There can be several scenarios. There can be scenarios in which indeed trade slows down. There can be a scenario in which trade slows down if indeed these tariffs are enforced. And at the same time, if these tariffs are enforced, it's possible that trade will be redistributed. And if tariffs are not imposed, there may be still an impact that will cause a rebalance of the global trade. The bottom line, whatever is whatever policy, trade policy, the various trading partners will settle, the markets will adjust and will adapt as they have for centuries.
That's yes, that's true. The markets adjust based on the information that comes to it. What is the main aim of the tariff policy of the Trump's administration? What do the new administration try to achieve with it? Do they want more investments into the manufacturing sector in the States, or do they just simply want to renegotiating the term with trade with its major partners?
Well, the general understanding is that they want to achieve both objectives. They do want to a more fair playing field with their trading partners. Was right now, to the best of my knowledge, for instance, the car imports or car parts imports to the US are subject to I believe 5% tariff before, of course, the last announcements, whereas American car and car parts imports into Europe are tariffed at percent. It's plain evident that this appears to be a little bit of a fair playing field, right? It's not clear why the Europe, the EU imposes this 10% and not the same tariff as the American side, 5%. But basically, one of the goals is indeed to create a playing field, the same fair playing field that for American, European, Asian partners. I think we understand that it's the primary goal, and the secondary goal may or may not be indeed that one of bringing in back some production is now occurring outside the US, bringing back to the US. So there's this dual goal that, of course, the second one is more long-term because you cannot bring back capacity, especially manufacturing capacity, in just a few days. It takes years, especially for heavy manufacturing plants. The first goal, the one creating a playing field for tariffs, is more easily achievable. So these are basically the goals of right now what we believe is the U.S. trade policy.
That's great. And what is the general understanding? What is your sense about its impact on the political? And of course, this is outside perhaps of your area, but among the people and the general public of these imposition of tariffs, are they seen favorably or unfavorably, or there is a mixed reaction?
I'll say there is a mixed reaction. There's a mixed reaction. I think but keep in mind, and it's a mixed reaction because the general population is not completely aware of the potential consequences of this policy. But frankly, even professionals and experts cannot really tell or forecast with certainty what the consequences will be. So that's why there is, I would say, a mixed reaction. People are not clear what this is going to mean long term for them. And let's be frank, it's not only the general population, it's also, as I said, professionals.
Yes, absolutely. And the U.S. economy has been performing really strongly in that regard. And it seems as though it hasn't been scratched by the impact of it, especially by looking at low unemployment and a relatively okay real growth. What is the economic outlook of the U.S. economy in the next 6 months?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the U.S. economy is plugging away very strongly, and it's expected to stay that way for the next 6 months. I think that's a general consensus.
That's great. Dr. Bandelli, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me, to be on this podcast. I wish you good luck in the world of the finances that you work with, and hopefully we will have in the future we will have you on our podcast.
Look forward to being back. Thank you so much, Mr. Moneski. and thank you for having me.
Thank you and I wish you all the best. А на вас ви благодарам што не следевте во овој интересен разговор со доктор Бандели. Се надевам дека имате повеќе познавање во однос на што се случува во светот на финансиите во Нью Йорк, на Уол Стрит. До следното јавување ви пожелувам се најдобро.